Hey y'all, this is Sam from the Roots of Change podcast, and today we are going to air our first ever episode. This was an episode that aired back in December 2023. It was a conversation between me and another organizer here in the Bay Area, Nadia Rahman, who is a Pakistani American. We talked about the U.S. Israel war on Palestine, how October 7th changed the global map, and how it was impacting Democrats and the future of organizing, and what that meant for us as human beings in this world trying to create change and trying to create positive change. That conversation is more prescient than ever as Donald Trump and Israel has waged a war against Iran, bombing ships in international waters, committing war crimes as if they are the masters of the universe. And that is, of course, what they believe. And so I wanted to re-air this conversation because I think it's a really important conversation for us to have right now after the 2024 election. It's something we need to consider and understand how actions that happened in the past then come and influence today. Because the more that we look at Israel and the Middle East and all of the conflict that has ensued over the past centuries in this region, the more we can see how colonialism has decimated the real human lives. And when we look back, we can see the threads of history, not just in the Middle East, but here closer to our shores. Because when we talk about the genocide of the Palestinians, we also have to talk about the genocide of indigenous people here on Turtle Island in the United States, and how the colonialist project made sure that the indigenous populations were wiped out in all manner of tactics. And we are seeing those same tactics played out against Palestinian people today. And so those are lessons that we can learn today to act in our organizing. So much of this feels too big. It feels too scary for us to handle. But these are forces that have been around for centuries, and there have always been people fighting against these forces. And so I ask you to listen to this conversation today, reflect on what it means for you then and what it means for you today, and how we have experienced so much since this conversation. I would definitely encourage you to take a listen to the second episode where we dig into the 2024 election and talk about Joe Biden and how he was sabotaging the election and the Democrats' prospects through his support of Israel. And we, of course, have seen that played out in the results of the election, but also through internal polling. Joe Biden and the Democrats have known for some time that Israel and AIPAC, and yet they continue to seek out that money and that funding because our politics are corrupted. And so it's important for us to really take a step back and consider the many layers and the many threads of how we got here and how so many different pieces of our history and our news influence each other. So I know, again, this is another heavy episode. Please take care of yourself. Take a look at some of our resources. If you are a Seedling member, we have a new playlist for you, and it has a bunch of resources to just help you kind of move through this moment. We talked a lot about media consumption right now in our newsletters this month. And we're also going to talk about navigating the patriarchy, navigating fascism, understanding why we are here today through the lens of patriarchy to celebrate Women's History Month. What a fun way to celebrate by focusing on men. But of course, through those stories, we see the many acts of resistance of women throughout our history. I think of countless women, and we are going to embark on our road tripping for change again as the days start to warm up. We're going to start heading back out on the road and really going across the country to talk about our many threads of history here in the United States on Turtle Island. And so I'm thinking about Harriet Tubman, where we visited her home, and how she had such a fierce belief that she needed to be free, and that her family and her ancestors and her future descendants deserved to be free. And I know that we have that same energy inside all of us. And so I look to those heroes today to hold on to a little bit of that hope, to hold on to a little bit of that fierce feminist energy. So with that said, I hope you enjoy our conversation. So thank you so much. And I'm going to turn it over to Past Sam to set up the conversation.